Hello, folks. I'm Detroit Miracle. Yes, and indeed. Right now, I am here to have more cool, fun comic book slash film slash story slash powers levels. Fun. This such topic will be about none other than Mace Windu. Yes, so for all you cool Star Wars fandom out there, I hope you enjoy as well. Okay, we're going to be comparing power levels of Mace Windu through different platforms of characterization, such as comic books, animated cartoons, and live action films. Okay, in the comic books, they tend to make characters immensely more powerful than they are shown on the big screen overall and on average. So in the comic books, they certainly made Mace Windu more powerful than he looked on the big screen. So if they characterize him as being an ultimate fighting force in the cartoons or on the in the comic books, then why don't they show him do the same powerful feats in the live action? Why don't they show any significant iconic character use the same powers on the big screen in the live action that they used in the comics and in the cartoons? And that is the case with Mace Windu. Like he's immensely powerful in the comic books, the cartoons, but in the live action, they sort of strip him of some of his main superpowers, such as Shatter Point, where he can virtually rip things to pieces, metal, walls, fragments, everything. Mace Windu has Shatter Point power, so with the Force, he can use it to decimate an army of tanks because he can find weaknesses and vital points within certain working systems or most working systems. So, in other words, when they had to fight in Revenge of the Sith, meaning him and Palpatine, Mace Windu should have been able to end that contest instantly with his Shatter Point. Vapad lightsaber fighting style that Mace Windu uses frequently is like a kryptonite to the dark side in ways, as far as you can steal the dark side if you are a Jedi and then channel it out and use the dark side against the dark sider that used it against you. That's ingenious. And that is another point about Mace Windu. A key point, he also has Vapad, and it's a lightsaber style, but it's also a philosophical perspective for defeating the darkness within you, using the darkness within you. So, in other words, if you are proficient with Vapad, you can fight a dark sider who is channeling a lot of aggression and anger and rage at you in a conflicting way. You could take that in and channel it back at them, and they would never know what hit you. So Mace Windu invented that particular principle. He gathered all of the facts of the matter in terms of behavior, anger, rage, and he came up with a system to steal the anger and rage and channel it back and redirect it into the adversary that used it against him. So he does that fluently with Vapad style. They don't say if he integrated it into martial arts that he does. Yeah, the Jedi, like the Sith, rather, learn martial art fighting styles as well. So, did Mace Windu also experiment with martial arts in terms of Vapad? Because martial arts tends to get overly aggressive and conflicting and violently dangerous. So it stands to reason that if Vapad works with sword fighting, then it would also work with hand-to-hand competition and combats. But that is another story in terms of him using Vapad in other ways. But it would have made sense if he had Vapad just in case he dropped his lightsaber. But that is another story. Okay, lastly, I'm going to get to Mace Windu's power levels in terms of all platforms. I would say he looks the least powerful in the live action and in the on the big screen, but he still appears very powerful as a Jedi Knight. I would say he appears immensely powerful in the animated Clone Wars series in terms of him being able to do things that Superman couldn't even do. Indeed. Yeah, so in other words, you should go out and read the Mace Windu comic books and watch the Mace Windu cartoon related footage. You'll have a great time because Mace Windu's powers are immensely characterized, which are his true power levels. But they didn't let him use those powers on a big screen, in which they should have, because it would have been much more amazing. He could have took out the entire droid army on Geonosis himself, because in the animated Clone Wars cartoon, he personally destroyed an entire droid army. He destroyed them, dispatched them, and killed many of them without his lightsaber. But in the Phantom Menace characterization of Mace Windu, I know hundreds of Jedi's died on Geonosis, even though Master Jedi's were fighting in that arena. But that is another story. Nevertheless, Mace Windu is top tier Force user, immensely powerful, and Anakin had to sneak him in order to beat him. There are many mind perspective viewpoints that feel that way. Okay, let me know how you feel about this, people.